Welcome back to the 21 Boom Guided Meditation. This is Coach Zach Feeney. I'll be your guide for the evening. This is about how you can find peace and contentment in such troubled and frantic times as these. Or rather, this is about how you can rediscover them, for there are deep well springs of peace and contentment living inside us all, no matter how trapped and distraught we might feel. They're just waiting to be liberated from the cage that our frantic and relentless way of life have crafted for us, for them. We try so hard to be happy that we end up missing the most important parts of our lives and destroying the very peace that we're seeking. This is to help you understand where true happiness, peace, and contentment can be found and how you can rediscover them for yourself. This should teach you how to free yourself progressively from anxiety, stress, and happiness and exhaustion. I'm not promising eternal bliss. Everyone experiences periods of pain and suffering. It is naive and dangerous to pretend otherwise. And yet, it is possible to taste an alternative to the relentless struggle that pervades much of our daily lives. You come to the profound understanding that thoughts and feelings, including negative ones, are transient. They come and they go. And ultimately, you have a choice about whether to act on them or not. Mindfulness is about observing without criticism, being compassionate with yourself when unhappiness or stress hovers overhead, rather than taking it all personally. You learn to treat them as if they were black clouds in the sky and to observe them with friendly curiosity as they drift past. In essence, mindfulness allows you to catch negative thought patterns before they tip you into a downward spiral. It begins the process of putting you back in control of your life. Meditation is not about accepting the unacceptable. It is about seeing the world with greater clarity so that you can take wiser and more considered action to change those things that need to be changed. Meditation helps cultivate a deep and compassionate awareness that allows you to assess your goals and find the optimum path toward realizing your deepest values. So, sitting in a way that embodies dignity. If you're sitting in a chair, bringing your back a little away from the rear of the chair so that your spine is self-supporting. Your feet can be flat on the floor. Close your eyes. Focus your attention on your breath as it flows in and out of your body. Stay in touch with the different sensations of each in-breath and each out-breath. Observe the breath without looking for anything special to happen. There is no need to alter your breathing in any way. After a while, your mind may wander. When you notice this, gently bring your attention back to your breath without giving yourself a hard time. The act of realizing that your mind has wandered and bringing your attention back without criticizing yourself is central to the practice of mindfulness meditation. Your mind may eventually become calm like a still pond, or it may not. Even if you get a sense of absolute stillness, it may only be fleeting. If you feel angry or exacerbated, notice that this may be fleeting too. Whatever happens, just allow it to be as it is. Now let your eyes open and take in the room again. Numerous psychological studies have shown that regular meditators are happier and more contented than average. These are not just important results in themselves, but have huge medical significance, as such positive emotions are linked to a longer and healthier life. Anxiety, depression, irritability all decrease with regular sessions of meditation. Memory also improves, reaction times become faster, and mental and physical stamina increase. Regular meditators enjoy better and more fulfilling relationships. Studies worldwide have found that meditation reduces the key indicators of chronic stress, including hypertension. Meditation has also been found to be effective in reducing the impact of serious conditions, such as chronic pain and cancer, and can even help to relieve drug and alcohol dependence. Studies have now shown that meditation bolsters the immune system and thus helps to fight off colds, flu, and other diseases. When you start to feel a little sad, anxious, or irritable, it's not the mood that does the damage, but how you react to it. You can't stop the triggering of unhappy memories, self-critical thoughts, and judgmental ways of thinking, but you can stop what happens next. You can stop the spiral from feeding off itself and triggering the next cycle of negative thoughts. You can stop the cascade of destructive emotions that can end up making you unhappy, anxious, stressed, irritable, or exhausted. Mindfulness meditation teaches you to recognize memories and damaging thoughts as they arise. It reminds you that they are memories. They're like propaganda. They are not real. They are not you. You can learn to observe negative thoughts as they arise. Let them stay a while, and then simply watch them evaporate before your eyes. And when this occurs, an extraordinary thing can happen. A profound sense of happiness and peace fills the void. You may be astonished by how much more happiness and joy are attainable with even tiny changes to the way you live your life. Tension and happiness or exhaustion aren't problems that can be solved. They are emotions. They reflect states of mind and body. As such, they cannot be solved, only felt. Once you've felt them, that is, acknowledge their existence and let go of the tendency to explain or get rid of them, they are much more likely to vanish naturally, like the mist on a spring morning. Pure awareness transcends thinking. It allows you to step outside the chattering negative self-talk and your reactive impulses and emotions. It allows you to look at the world once again with open eyes. And when you do so, a sense of wonder and quiet contentment begins to reappear in your life. The evidence is clear. Brooding is the problem, not the solution. Have you noticed how low mood affects the body, such as the way you move? Psychologist Johannes Michalak and colleagues at the Ruhr University at Bochum used an optical motion capture system to see how depressed people differ from non-depressed people as they walk. They invited depressed and non-depressed people to their lab and asked them to walk, choosing freely how to walk and at what speed. They tracked the walkers' three-dimensional movements using over 40 small reflective markers attached to their bodies as they walked up and down. They found that the depressed volunteers walked more slowly, swinging their arms less. The upper body did not move up and down very much when they walked, but was more likely to swing from side to side instead. Finally, they found that the depressed people walked with a slumped forward-leaning posture. It is not just that such slumped posture is the result of being depressed. If you try the experiment of sitting for a minute with your shoulders slumped forward and head down, notice how you feel at the end of it. If you feel your mood has worsened, perhaps finish the experiment by shifting to a posture in which you are sitting upright with your head and neck balanced on your shoulders. It's all too easy to become locked into a cycle of suffering and distress when you try to eliminate your feelings or become enmeshed in overthinking. Negative feelings persist when the mind's problem-solving doing mode volunteers to help, but instead ends up compounding the very difficulties you were seeking to overcome. But there is an alternative. Our minds also have a different way of relating to the world. It's called the being mode. It's akin to, but far more than, a shift in perspective. It's a different way of knowing that allows you to see how your mind tends to distort reality. It helps you to step outside of your mind's natural tendency to overthink, overanalyze, and overjudge. You begin to experience the world directly, so you can see any distress you're feeling from a totally new angle and handle life's difficulties very differently. And you find that you can change your internal landscape, the mindscape, if you will, irrespective of what's happening around you. You are no longer dependent on external circumstances for your happiness, contentment, and poise. You are back in control of your life. Mindful awareness or mindfulness spontaneously arises out of this being mode when we learn to pay attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment to things as they actually are. In mindfulness, we start to see the world as it is, not as we expect it to be, how we want it to be, or what we fear it might become. Doing mode is not an enemy to be defeated, but is often an ally. Doing mode only becomes a problem when it volunteers for a task that it cannot do, such as solving a troubling emotion. When this happens, it pays to shift gear into being mode. This is what mindfulness gives us, the ability to shift gears as we need to, rather than being permanently stuck in the same one. There are 7 characteristics of doing and being modes of mind. You have automatic pilot versus conscious choice. Mindfulness brings you back again and again to full conscious awareness, a place of choice and intention. Second, analyzing versus sensing. Third, striving versus accepting. Fourth, seeing thoughts as solid and real versus treating them as mental events. Mindfulness teaches us that thoughts are just thoughts. They are events in the mind. They are often valuable, but they are not you or reality. They are your internal running commentary on yourself and the world. Fifth, avoidance versus approaching. This compassionate approach gradually dissipates the power of your negative feelings. Sixth, mental time travel versus remaining in the present moment. And lastly, depleting versus nourishing activities.